Welcome back. It is Sunday sit-down time. Virtually with us now is Peter Baugh from The Athletic, covering all things Mizzou sports. Peter, how's your Sunday going so far?
Sunday's been pretty good. No complaints here.
Well, it's been a pretty spectacular weekend for Mizzou athletics as a whole. How would you describe what's gone on this weekend for the Tigers?
Yeah, it really started off well Friday when Isaac Thompson, a four-star defensive back from St. Louis, committed to Mizzou. He's a class of 2022 prospect and kind of really gets Drinkwitz's momentum going with that class a little bit. And then Saturday, obviously, was just a roller coaster win for Missouri and a heartbreaking loss for Arkansas. And it was, honestly, one of the crazier games I've covered, which Mizzou's had a lot of not crazy games in the past few years. So it's not saying a ton, but it was a really hectic game and really fun to be there and to watch and write about.
What was it like for you to see Barry Odom wear red on Saturday?
Yeah, so it was interesting. I actually met with Barry in January, about a month after he took the job at Arkansas. And I went down there, and it was funny. I told him, I said, Barry, I'll admit it's weird seeing you in red. And he's like, yeah, well, you look the same, Peter. And I thought that was funny. But yeah, it's definitely was a kind of a weird scene. I'm sure it was strange for him. It looked like there's a point before the game, about an hour before, where he kind of was by the end zone near the Rock Gammon, just kind of like taking in the stadium. And I can't imagine that. It would be very strange to, I guess, go up against the coach that replaced you. And I definitely kind of sympathize for Barry in that moment. And but Arkansas really has done a good job kind of righting the ship this year after Chad Morris's tenure, which was kind of a disaster for them. Sam Pittman really seems to have them trending in a bit better of a direction.
Well, Coach Drinkwitz clearly has Mizzou headed in the right direction. How impressive has this been to take what he had and get this team to 5-3 in a conference-only schedule, toughest conference in football?
Totally, yeah. I don't think he was left with a completely bare cupboard, but I think what we're seeing is just an ability to pull out close games, and that often was the downfall of Barry Odom. I believe Mizzou won 4 one-possession games during Odom's 4-year tenure, and they've already won 3 this season. And that's a big difference. I think that it seems like this year the games that could go either way have gone Mizzou's way, and that's a testament to coaching. That's a testament to the players performing in pressure situations. And yeah, I think it's been a really impressive coaching job by Drinkwitz. The offense, it hasn't been perfect, but I think it has gotten better these past few weeks, and it's just really impressive considering that he didn't have spring practice to get them, in shape or have the new offense installed the way he wanted. So yeah, I would say that Mizzou's looked very solid. And I think Drinkwitz is definitely right up there with the contenders for SEC Coach of the Year right now.
Well, Drinkwitz's defense played well, especially considering the fact that their best player, Nick Bolton, went out with that targeting call in the second quarter. What did you think of their resilience? It wasn't pretty all the time, but they did get the job done in the end.
Yeah, I think it was definitely the defense's probably worst showing of the year. But I think there were some bright spots. I think you saw in the fourth quarter they forced 2 punts when they needed to force 2 punts. But ultimately it was definitely not the best game. It looked like they struggled a little bit at times when Arkansas played with a little more tempo. But the 2 weeks before, the defense looked really good, and Ryan Walters has done a good job overall. I think this is just a week that maybe the quarterback switch caught him off guard. Maybe the tempo caught him off guard. Maybe Arkansas just played really well, and maybe Mizzou just didn't play well yesterday. But I don't necessarily see this as like a large long-term concern that the defense, struggled yesterday. It just was one of those days where things weren't quite working, and the offense was able to bail them out, just like the defense bailed the offense out at the South Carolina game.
Well, right now, we think Mizzou's going to play 2 more games, but in 2020, you just never know. Georgia's up next, then Mississippi State. Does it really matter what happens in those games, or do you think Drinkwitz has kind of already just won over Mizzou Nation with his performances so far?
Yeah, the thing with fan bases is that it can change very quickly. I think no matter what happens the rest of this year, fans are going to be really happy with a 5-win season. I think fans should have been happy with a 4-win season. I said going into the year 3 wins is an acceptable amount for this year's team considering the conference only schedule. So I think Drinkwitz through this year certainly is definitely in a spot where he's going to be, I guess, like the Mizzou fan base is going to be pleased with what they've seen from him. It'll be interesting to see if that continues. Next year, obviously, I mean, we saw Jeremy Pruitt. The whole Tennessee fan base was really behind him after last season, after they won, I think, 5 or 6 games to end the season. And now look at where they're at. So, like, Drinkwitz will be the first to tell you the college football landscape can change quickly. And right now he's in a good spot, and I think he's pretty safely in a good spot through the rest of this season. But you never can get comfortable if you're a college football coach.
Quick prediction. I'll put you on the spot. You think Mizzou can beat Georgia next week at home?
I wouldn't predict it, but I think Mizzou's definitely playing like a team that would have a shot against Georgia. I think that this is not the same level of Georgia team that Mizzou has seen in years past. And I'll be interested to see kind of where Georgia's at mentally. This isn't a team that has a chance to play in the SEC title game anymore. Is that going to mess with them a little bit? Are they going to, I guess, see it as a wasted year considering their expectations going in? How healthy are they? I think Mizzou can definitely keep the game close. And if you keep the game close and it's in the fourth quarter, like, you've got a shot. I would not pick Mizzou to win, but I would not be I'm done being shocked with anything that happens this year.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully next year we'll have you back sitting in the same studio as me, and we're both in our chairs over to the left. But Peter Baugh from The Athletic, thank you so much for coming on, and enjoyed spending some time with you on this Sunday.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Andrew. It's always a pleasure.
All right, Peter Baugh from The Athletic. Get your subscriptions today. We'll be right back after this.